Some people were asking why Kim Jong-un got such pride of place at the parade in Beijing recently to commemorate the end of the Second World War. Well, that is because the struggle against Japanese fascism in China and Korea were very closely linked. By the 1930s, Korea had been under Japanese occupation for decades. By that point, the liberal and conservative parts of Korean society had either fled the country or had become full-blown collaborators. This meant that the armed resistance was left mostly to communists and some left-leaning nationalists. However, it had become increasingly difficult to maintain an armed resistance underground within the Korean peninsula itself. And so the leader of the communist partisans, Kim Il-sung, the current leader of North Korea's grandfather, decided to create North Korean base area within what was then called Manchuria, that is China's northeast. There, the Korean partisans would team up with the Chinese communist partisans who were engaged in their own guerrilla struggle against Japanese occupation of northern China. The man on the other side of Xi Jinping at the parade was, of course, Vladimir Putin, representing the successor state of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was, of course, the country which, in 1945, would finally push the Japanese fascists back into the sea. And I mean, it must have been so wild being a communist partisan operating in northern China in August 1945. Against all odds, you have maintained a decades-long resistance against the Japanese occupiers, and they have waged some of the most brutal, repressive anti-guerrilla warfare that we had yet seen. And there, in 1945, you see your Soviet compatriots hardened by fighting their own war against European fascism in some of the most brutal, bloody conflicts that humanity has ever known. And they completely steamroll the Japanese fascists and their Korean and Chinese collaborators, liberating northern China and the Korean peninsula once and for all. I mean, it's enough to get you a little teary-eyed.